I'll introduce the panel of accelerators. So please help me to welcome the following speakers. It's a very interesting panel. First speaker that we have, Eveline Buchatskiy, partner of East Labs. All right, Eveline Buchatskiy here with us, while the people, they finish in Connect. A big warm applause for Eveline. Hi, Eveline, how are you going? Nice to find you here. Take a seat wherever you like, and I let you have this one. All right, I like this connection mood while the speakers come in. I feel more at home. Okay, then we have Mike Reiner, Chief Wiseguy, Startup Wiseguys. Hi, Mike, how are you going? Warm applause for Mike, too. Hi, Mike, welcome. The Managing Director at Launch Hub from Bulgaria, by the way, Todor Breshkov. Todor here again. Hello. I see two different kind of speakers, Todor. The one that come with the bag on stage, because they don't trust to leave the bag. I'm like that, you know, I come with the bag on stage, and the ones that leave the bag on the backstage, you know. Good choice. All right, the co-founder of Game Founders, a game accelerator, very interesting, Sven Illing. Hi, Sven. Good, welcome to Sven. And then, I think we are all right, the principal at Microsoft Ventures, Amir Pinchas. Should be here, Amir? Yeah, very good. Hi, Amir. Welcome. Take a seat. And I think John Bradford is arrived. Okay, Managing Director of Techstars London, John Bradford. Yeah. Hi, John. Nice to have you here. All right. I didn't see you before, sorry, so I was worried that you were trapped in the Kiev traffic. Okay, very good. So, just to be on the same page, we started, I think, in a very inspiring way, good mood, good vibe, talking about investments and so on, and now we go deep in the accelerators world. We'll have just a quick introduction from each of us. You can use slides or you just tell us, I mean, what you're exactly doing, and then we start to have a talk. All right? I'm Italian, and I always start with women first. If you agree, guys. Yeah. Is okay for you? Okay. All right, so let's start with Eveline. Yeah, so you have this one, and we need a mic for Eveline. If you can borrow.
I will. Okay,
very
cool.
Good. And you can check the slides here.
Okay, cool. So, clicker. Let's see how it's gonna work. So women talk a lot, so I'll take more than 1 minute.
Sure.
Okay, but anyways, when I was invited to this panel, I was told it was supposed to be local accelerators versus Western accelerators. And then I thought, you know what? I really don't like the local versus Western. So instead of these, you know, versus, how about if we had something like local accelerators with Western accelerators? That's more of a cooperative mode as opposed to a zero-sum game, and that's how I think we should be setting our minds today and the minds of the audience in this conference. So we each, you know, bring something to the table, East and West, and we actually sometimes enjoy the same taste, especially when it comes to capital. So just so you know, there is a lot of new capital from Ukraine going towards the West. Even the most traditional industrial holdings are now investing heavily on internet projects in the West. For example, East One just made a huge investment in Rocket Internet last year. That's a very traditional holding in Ukraine. So you can expect to have money from here to your projects, as well as an angel network is being formed this month. And we already signed up 15 angels that will be receiving deal flow from any of the accelerators. It's going to be focused on post-accelerator, and it's money for any of, you know, your teams. And 15 members, over $1 billion of consolidated fortune, eager to invest in teams from anywhere. And from the West, of course, there's an appetite for beyond borders. So I'm receiving a lot of requests from Italy, from Switzerland, Germany. You know, what do you have here? So, but we also have our secret sauce, each side. Ukraine has, consistently ranked top 30 destination for IT outsourcing in the past few years, over 100,000 developers. We are the perfect pilot entry spot for the Russian-speaking internet, which happens to be the biggest internet audience in Europe and the second most popular language in the world, in the internet. So local accelerators can generate global startups that can go to your accelerator later on and be ripe for quick customer development. And the West, of course, has scale, smart money, and a lot of mentors that we don't have. So I propose today, when we talk, that we enter this matching mode. Specifically speaking, let's date. Let's form cross-accelerator teams of Eastern tech plus Western business. You guys wished you had more geeks. We wish we had more MBAs. Let's just, date. I also propose forming, for example, pan-European co-investment teams. Why? Because there are some models that are obvious, that can be replicated in several countries. Why, each one of us struggle with starting? Let's start and co-invest, and then we can replicate with the local accelerators doing most of the business development and combine demo day. In exchange, let's have sweeter terms for the teams that we know will go through double acceleration. We are doing that right now. We are getting a team from Startup Bootcamp, and we are taking only 1/3 of the equity that we typically take, because we understand they already went through Startup Bootcamp, but they want to enter the Eastern European market, and we are a perfect partner for that. East Labs is determined to form third-party partnerships, and here's what to expect. I'm a managing partner at East Labs, accelerated based in Kiev. We were founded last year. We have invested in 12 teams, over about 600,000 in cash investment and double that in in-kind investment, follow-on money of 900,000 already, and we are launching East Labs Gaming as a specialized arm to take advantage of the gaming talent here. So I'm ready. I hope to find partners here. Thank you.
Thanks, Eveline. And okay, very good. Just let's have a seat. I'll go random like that, I go Italian style with, I go with John and then Mike and so on. John, before you speak about Techstars, I think everyone knows Techstars, by the way. I watched the video where, I don't know, you were talking, it was an interview, and you were talking about the 5 criteria that you use when you choose a company. Can you first start from that? Because I really like that.
My name's John Bradford. I happen to run Techstars in London. We are a program which is funded by entrepreneurs, it's supported by entrepreneurs, and it's for entrepreneurs. The key criteria that you're referring to is how we make our decisions about the teams we participate in the programs themselves, and we essentially have 5. And the first one is team, and the second one is team, and the third one is team, the fourth one is opportunity, and the fifth one is team. We are extremely focused on the entrepreneurs and the individuals that are involved. At such an early stage, it's really, you basically have nothing except for the people who sit in a room, and it's their know-how and their knowledge and their sheer determination to make something go from nothing to something that we focus on.
Right, so you invest in people mainly, that's the main focus. Okay, let's go to Mike. Let's share just a mic. Thanks, Amir, if you can just share it.
So, my name is Mike Reiner. I run Startup Wiseguys. Shall we do the rest without slides? Or?
Yeah, sure. If you want to use slides, you have.
Actually, I'm going to skip most of them, but I want to show you just one slide, actually. Then I'm going to skip the rest. So we started beginning of last year in Tallinn, Estonia. Originally, I'm half German, half Dutch, and now we have a team of like 5 different nationalities managing the accelerator. I'm going to skip because you guys asked me to show some portfolio teams. I'm not going to do this. What I'm going to do is, you missed the most important slide. I sent you an update. I have a half-naked picture in my slide deck that you missed. Anyway,
Wait. Can we do a huge applause to the tech people? They're working so hard. They don't sleep for days, you know. So it's really hard job, guys. We'll find it. We'll find it later.
so then I'm just going to say we've had 3 programs so far. We started our first program beginning of last year, and those guys have now raised 1.3 million almost. Second program just ended end of April last year, and we're currently running the 3rd program. And you guys asked for a couple of examples. So 3 examples, for instance, are WhatsApp, they're a Dutch company. They raised now 650. They want to compete with Netflix in Europe. Great team. Vital Fields actually somewhere around at the conference. They want to boost farming production, raise 250K, and they want to offer like hyper-local recommendations, fertilizers for companies. Monolith, another example, they offer Google Analytics for retail stores, which I think is also a great innovation, also raised around. What I said, the most important slide that I actually want to show is missing. So I can't show it, so I'm just going to say, if you're in Tallinn, visit us, come past, and that's it.
All right, cool. Amir, same thing. If you have slides, also let's just share the pointer. Very good.
I'll try to do it relatively quickly.
We were talking before, one day, Steve Ballmer. Do you know Steve Ballmer? Microsoft X, I would say. Is officially X, Amir?
No, not yet. Not yet. He's still on duty.
It's still, so...
Yeah, till the end, probably by the end of the next year.
By the end of the next year will not be the Microsoft #1 person. When he came in Italy, I did the interview with Steve Ballmer, and it was an experience, guys, really. It was really an experience, big impact. All right, please, Amir.
Yeah, Steve is interesting.
Tough guy,
sure.
yeah.
Okay. So we established Microsoft Ventures 5 months ago. It's a new journey for Microsoft. We didn't have a venture arm before that. It started 18 months ago when I founded the first Microsoft-operated accelerator in Tel Aviv with an aspiration to be the best place for entrepreneurs to build their businesses. No Microsoft products, no nothing. Just come, learn, connect with best mentors that we have, connect with the best technology that we have, and just have fun and create your business. We don't take any equity, so that's kind of fun for the entrepreneur. So we can go through a few accelerator program before and come and get the extra boost. Microsoft has a lot of partnership capabilities, especially in our ability to get you in front of customers, which is the most important phase after building something, either for product development or for knowing what the problem is and kind of try to solve that in a really, really good way. So this is what we do at Microsoft Ventures. We have a seed fund that I manage for Europe. We invest between 50 to 215 companies. We have accelerators, and it's a few accelerators, so it's not just one. It's a 3 to 6 months program with really emphasis on, like John said, on the entrepreneur, on the team, and our ability to connect them to the right mentors and advisors to help them understand what they don't know. So currently we have accelerator in Tel Aviv, in Seattle, in Bangalore, and in Beijing. We also have pre-accelerator in Paris, and I think we have great track record all across. In our accelerator, 120 companies went through the program so far. Another 35 is currently in class and will be graduated in the next 2 months. 85% of them are fully funded at Demo Day. We have 6 acquisitions from our portfolio, and I think that it showed the strength of the program and how deep we go with the companies. So we have new accelerator coming up in London. They already started with a small batch of 5 companies, and they're going to go with full-blown program next year. And Rio and Berlin that's starting next month. So I think we have a place for right about any geography or any entrepreneur, even in Central Eastern Europe, to apply to. And it's all about the teams, so come with a very passionate approach and a big vision how you're going to change the world. And that's it.
All right, excellent.
Yeah, just go to our website and apply.
Yeah, Bitspar. Perfect. Thanks, Amir. We just go to Sven and then we close with Todor. Okay? Same, Sven, if you have a couple of slides just to tell us.
Hi, I'm Sven from Game Founders.
And can I say one thing, Sven, the difference, I mean, between the accelerators that I see here is that you try to focus on a specific vertical instead of being generic, let's say. Is it right?
Yeah, this is exactly right. And this trend started, I think, 2-3 years ago when a vertical accelerator started popping out, and I'm a true believer in this. I come from Estonia, and our top startups would go to US accelerators such as Techstars and AngelPad and at Seed Camp. Like 20% of the Seed Camp companies are coming from Estonia, so it's really tough, I think, to compete unless you have a vertical accelerator, and then you can really provide more value. Let's take Rock Health in San Francisco. I could go on and on this, but this is like probably for later discussion. That actually vertical accelerators are really adding more value to startups. So let's see. So why gaming? Is that it's a $70 billion industry, and we actually all have a gaming device now in the pocket, and mobile and tablet gaming is growing insane. So I guess everybody knows this. A few words about Game Founders. We're based in Tallinn. We've invested into. We're a year old. We ran 2 patches. We have invested globally. We have mentors from Scandinavia and US mostly, and applications we have almost from 50 countries. So we see a lot of deal flow coming in from Asia, but also from South America and elsewhere. And Game Founders is very straightforward accelerator, like many others, except this gaming vertical. And I would point out demo days, which we have around the globe. We have them in San Francisco, where we have a tour where we visit with our companies publishers, investors, cool game companies. Then we have a demo day in London, in Paris, and in Helsinki. So we have like 3 demo days each for each batch. And here's a short overview of the program. And so it's about mentors, seminars, playtest days, and then we also keep track of the startups, and of course we practice pitches, and then we have demo days. So thanks. That's about Game Founders.
All right, cool. And Bulgaria, right, Todor?
Right.
Is okay.
Hello, I'm Todor Breshkov. I'm coming from Bulgaria, Sofia. So we have founded Launch Hub something like 12 months ago, and we are more of a seed fund actually with a small accelerator arm. What is different most probably with the other guys here is that we can follow on investments in our acceleration companies.
Okay.
Up to now, we have been working predominantly into Southeast Europe in terms of region. We have companies from 5 different countries, and we have up to now invested in something like 25 companies. And in terms of progress. We already have 2 companies closing their Series A, and for a year we believe this is something good. What we do believe is, again, like John and Amir said, people, of course, and we believe that in the region there is very good engineering talent, and this is what we try to invest in.
Okay. All right. So I tell you one thing. A few years ago, I thought about launching an accelerator in Italy. Okay? And because I had like a startup school, and I did something that, I don't know, I got 2,000 startups to engage. So I tried to go deeper in the accelerator. And then I met, I think, Carlos Espinal from Seedcamp. Carlos went in Italy, we talked a little bit, and after 10 minutes I said, I will never launch an accelerator because there's so much competition, there are big names, Y Combinator in US, 500 startups, Techstars, Microsoft, so the big guys are coming, and I'm in a small country, and I think I will have several problems, okay? So that was my concern. And then I said, I don't do it, I just give up. So luckily for you, I haven't, I'm joking, no. I think, and I'm thinking about this part of the stage, don't you think is a big challenge if you're not, you know, in Silicon Valley, or you are not one of the top 5 players to launch and to running an accelerator? So what's your angle, Eveline? I start with you, if we can give the mic to Eveline. What's your different angle? Why people should come to you and not going in the other accelerator?
I guess I did touch that point in my presentation. It's not about competing, it's about finding ways to cooperate, because we each bring something to the table. If you talk to any other accelerators, you know, even Y Combinator, you know, if you talk to, I mean, I didn't talk to them, but I would suppose they're always complaining about deal flow. We all wished we had more deal flow. So yes, there's a lot of competition, and yes, deal flow could be better. So let's find ways that we can add value to the startups and not compete.
Okay.
Even the local ones, like you wanted to do it in Italy, right? You know what? If you were doing an accelerator for fashion or design, I think you would do beautiful.
Yeah, finding the right topic that is where your country is strong.
Yes, I mean, you can add more value than I think any other accelerator for being in the capital for design.
Right.
So trying to think what you can, you know, add that is unique.
Okay, so unique and partnership. Mike?
So I think there's, I would say, 3 things. One, it's the region. So where you're established, you have better connections in the region. You have better opportunity to really dive deep and find gems in the region. Whilst the big guys from the US, they have the name, and a lot of people like startups apply. So I think it's one advantage that you're in the region. You just have better connections to find good teams. I think another, and I think that's a really important advantage, is when you're small, you have the time to really dedicate the teams. When I look at YCOM and look at 500 startups, there's so many teams going through that even though they have amazing mentors, the time spent on the teams is not that much because there's too many of them. So we take 8 teams maximum per program, and we do this deliberately. That's the maximum we can handle. And even though per batch 80 mentors come over, and most of them are international, we really want to work hands-on with all the teams. So I think that's massively important as well. So
the advantage is to be present locally and to be able to follow them hands-on.
Exactly, and I think another thing what Sven said, another thing is focus. So we've discovered that we are best in B2B. From next year forward, we'll focus exclusively on B2B as well.
All right, just go to Todor and Sven. Just keep quick answers so we just...
Actually, I agree with the geography and the focus, with working with the teams case-by-case basis.
A little bit louder.
Case-by-case basis. Also, which is important, is that we shouldn't forget that the accelerators in general also help the general ecosystem in the different places. So that's why they're important to be actually anywhere.
Okay. Sven? Well, you found the vertical, so you already answered probably.
Yeah, so okay, so it's answered, right? I think if you find a right niche and if there's, it's still possible to do a local accelerator. It's just tough, but it's possible.
Okay. John, and then I go to Amir. The other side, I see. By the way, Techstars, I remember when Techstars launched, I was talking with Bradford, and he was very open. His approach was very open. Say, we will do a network, Techstars network, so if you run an accelerator somewhere, you can plug in our network, so it was an open approach. How do you feel, working with local accelerators could be part of your strategy, or you just go your way? What's the Techstar approach now?
So I actually find it really disappointing that you didn't even think about doing one in Italy, because that actually says to me that you don't think there are 10 teams in Italy that are worth supporting at a startup level. I mean, if you consider that, has anybody ever suggested that there's too much angel investment or there's too much venture capital?
Yeah.
So why would there be too many accelerators?
Yeah.
I mean, the hard part is actually it's not for the startups, it's for the investors. And actually investors are willing to potentially take a small hit at an early stage to pump prime ecosystems because they actually want to make bigger investments down the line. I can't believe that you could argue that from an entrepreneurial point of view, participating in one of these programs is not going to make them better entrepreneurs, even if the initial teams that they're working with are not the right teams. You have to spin up some knowledge and know-how. Coming to your question, we regularly work with other programs. So I know in the last batch of teams that we had in Techstars London, we had teams from Wyra in Dublin. We had teams from Rockstart in Amsterdam. We had a team from 11 in Bulgaria. So this is just kind of part of the system. It's going to become much more common to see teams which participate in many multiples.
Yeah.
I would be concerned if they get stuck at a level where they're not moving forward, but the value that we can add is a slightly different dimension to what can be added at an earlier stage. So I see this as kind of quite normal. See, camp teams have been and worked in Techstars in Boston. We've worked with 500 startups. I mean, the advantage you have with accelerators is the percentage people are taking is such a small part of the process that it's not cramming out. It's not actually creating a problem down the line. If you've done 3 or 4 of them, that's a problem. But potentially 1 or 2 is not an issue.
Yeah. By the way, at the end, I didn't launch. I love the accelerator model. I think it's tough to create a business out of it if you're not really a big one. And by the way, in Italy, there are now, I think there is one speaker is the founder of the #1 accelerator H-Farm in Italy. They're doing a big job. So, and there are a lot of accelerators now starting. So probably I missed a huge business in my opportunity. But Amir, how do you feel this from the Microsoft point of view? I mean, you have also access to many resources that many players don't have.
Yeah, so first of all, we embrace all those local accelerators. We actually help them. We have an in partnership with kind of brand that we can go in partnership with Microsoft Ventures, and other accelerator can go deeper with us in terms of mentorship, in terms of getting extra stuff for free for their startups. It's always good for this stage. I totally agree with John. I mean, the local accelerators kind of make the bar for better knowledge, better community player, create a screening of the teams and kind of point out the really good ones. And we, in all of our programs, we get tons of deal flow and teams from other accelerators. Probably in each batch we take like between 10 to 13 teams, so not a lot of teams, but at least 30% will be graduated from other programs. We have, for each location there is the local accelerator of that region, but we work constantly with SeedCamp, with 500 startups, with Techstars. In addition, I think that nice part for the local accelerator is to consider joining an accelerator network with some of the big guys, like global accelerator networks that Techstars run or used to run. Oh, still do.
Oh.
Yeah, so we are part of it. I didn't know if you spent it out or not, but yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah.
We are part of that accelerator program, Global Accelerator Network, and this enables the directors and the people that actually run the accelerator to be better at what they do by sharing the knowledge with other directors and ultimately give more value to the startups. And I
Right.
think it's all about value. So if you cannot drive significant value, it's probably
Yeah.
not a good business.
So in the end, it's a big family, the Accelerators family, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
it's partnership and collaboration more than competition. So local accelerators
So
playing together with global
So
accelerators.
we sit on stage and we advocate that teams should sit there and they should listen to lots of smart people and mentors and be open and tell teams that they need to think about all the conversations that they should be having. Sometimes that might even be with competitors, whatever it might be the case. We can't say those things and as organizations, as accelerators, not help support each other, because I personally believe that this represents a new asset class. This is a new way of actually starting businesses where you have angel investment, where you have institutional money. Accelerators are not going anywhere. Accelerators are here to stay, because going forward, the cost of actually starting a startup is going to get even cheaper if that's practically possible. And actually the know-how and the knowledge and the expertise which exists creates the unfair advantage to startups. It's not money. Money is no longer the barrier to starting a business.
Right. Please, man.
I agree that accelerators are not going anywhere, but I really see that that there's going to be, let's say, more consolidation and or like Eveline said, more cooperation is needed. Very few accelerators right now are still ruling, and just your example that you branded Springport to Techstars is like a great example. What's happening in the market. You're fast to see the trends. So I think lots of the accelerators will vanish, and the other ones are going to be branded like maybe Startup Bootcamp is one of them that can. Techstars goes to other places. It really makes a lot of sense, because suppose you have a company that says that, hey, I need like support from, let's say, China and then UK, you know, and maybe your mentors or your network is not there. But suppose that you have actually a regional office, sort of, like we see in venture world, top companies like Axel and DFJ. They open up their European offices, they open up their Asian offices, and they also look more closely into South America. So this globalization is probably also taking place in consolidation in a way in this accelerator space. So that if you really want to help your startup to go to China, then you actually might even send this startup for a couple of months to your Chinese office, or you have like a really strong presence there.
So you need
other ways to cooperate so that you have a really strong partner, let's say East Labs, that you can count on.
Yeah, right. So also because you need a great network of mentors. I mean, when I see Techstars or Y Combinator, I think, wow, you know, if I am in another country, I don't have Mark Zuckerberg coming at Startup School Day sharing his experience. I have, you know, someone who maybe doesn't have that experience. So how you get the best mentors, Todor? How can you get the best mentors for your startup if you are working locally?
So it's definitely tough, because working from distances with mentors, it's quite difficult for the time being, but you should bear in mind that best mentors mean different things to the different startups.
Right.
So if you generalize, then this exactly means that you're making the first mistake in general. So all the startups and all the entrepreneurs, they're in different spaces and businesses, so they have different needs, they have different team dynamics, so they have needs about mentoring and also program about them.
Okay.
So it's totally case by case, and one of the things actually that the different accelerators cooperate quite a lot is exchanging their mentors network quite a lot. So there are more and more people actually from the Western accelerators that are traveling to the Eastern ones, if there is such kind of a definition, of course. And at the end of the day, it's becoming a whole community, in my opinion, that boosts itself and helps each other, because when you have as much as possible entrepreneurs that have tried, failed, succeeded, it boosts actually all the others to try and...
So basically what you say is that you can have locally your mentors that maybe are good for a certain stage, and then you can plug in a maybe largest network of mentors working each other in this way. Amir?
Yeah, I want to double click on that, mentors, because mentors is just such a broad term. It's actually maybe 2 or 3 classes of mentors. There's in our program we have advisors, mentors, and probably another class is like the super mentors, like Mark Zuckerberg, kind of coming and having a talk or whatever.
The inspiring ones.
The inspiring ones. So I think that for a startup you need the whole 3 stack. So we need the inspiring lectures about the big shots that made it big, took the company to $1 billion, or sold the company and got massive returns, just to show them the North Star of where their business should go and kind of inspire them to do the bigger stuff. The mentors, they need to be very committed. So if it's just coming, having a 1-2 day of, hey, what's your product, kind of, it's not a lot of value. It's a lot more valuable to have like a weekly 1 hour with the CEO and ex-CEO of a startup and kind of deal with the hard and complexities that a startup facing on a weekly basis. The other classes, the advisors on specific thing, you have a pricing issue. So you want to go talk with a pricing...
or the SEO expert
for UX expert, for social marketing, or a specific task that is pretty limited for a 2-3 weeks time frame. And I think that the best accelerator programs should go on and create the whole 3-stack mentorship.
Right. John, and then I go to Mike.
I was going to quickly say to that, the thing I have learned having run multiple different programs is actually it's less about mentors and it's more about teams. Because if you can actually find great teams and you can really help them make a difference, your ability to attract mentors and your ability to attract investors is so much, much easier. It's just because that's the thing that's sticky. That's the thing that actually makes people pick up the phone and say, I've heard that you've got a team. Would you mind if I can speak to them? Your ability for you to contact a friend and say, I've got this kick-ass team and they really need support. They're way beyond where we're capable of supporting them. Can you find me somebody in the network who does this or this or this? That's the key to this, which is if you can get the best teams and you can actually make an impact. So it might not be a great team to begin with, but if you can demonstrate that you have really added value at the end of it, it really makes a difference. Your attractiveness to the outside world is so much, much higher.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I totally agree. I think the team is the one. It's like, your consulting team that helps you to build the company. Eveline, you want to?
Yeah, I just wanted to add the evolution that has happened in the ecosystem here in Ukraine is just mind-blowing. 1.5 years ago, I started, to add mentors to East Labs. We now have 95. But it was extremely hard because we live with a culture that differs a lot from the American culture of giving back. People are more closed here. So I would always guess the question, what's on for me? I mean, why should I become a mentor? There is nothing there for me. It took sometimes, 10 meetings to convert one person to being a mentor. Now, it's so much easier. It's so much more obvious. So it's almost like we live in a different country in just 1.5 years. And we're taking this mentorship to the next level. We met with Launch Hub and we said, how can we exchange? Obviously, we can't trade people, especially if they're not paid. But how can we now convince the same people that took so long to engage, and it was so hard, to now engage into other communities in Bulgaria and others? What can we offer them?
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. Also because there is more trust. One question, one question, Mike, and I'm coming to you, Sven. You were talking in your presentation that the companies graduated by your program now got something like over 1 million funding, right? What are the metrics that you track? I mean, this is obviously for a startup is something interesting because I come to your program to say, okay, I want to get funded, but I want to build a company, and funding is one part of it. This is like a metric that startups are looking at, or is just because you are in a stage that there are no exit yet, and so I don't know. Y Combinator always say, yeah, we have a valuation like that, and we already had Heroku exit, and because they already had years to get their exit. What are the metrics that you're looking for?
So what you said, it takes years for an exit, right? So everybody, I mean, except Techstars, we're relatively young, so the exit part we don't have. So the only things in that sense that we can show is the amount of funding, revenue, so how many companies make revenue, and how many companies survive, right? Okay. I think these are the key things that we show to kind of like indicate the quality of the program. But at the end, I think it is all about the mentors as well.
Okay.
And I think also the question of joining an accelerator, talk to alumni companies, ask the experience, get the feeling for what it's like
to be there.
Exactly.
One question. I go from Sven, sorry, and then I go back to John, please. Sven.
Yeah, I just actually had a proposal that let's leave time for questions because this. Accelerators are let's say known already to the audience, I'm sure, but there might be some really interesting questions that it's possible to ask from lots of accelerator guys here.
Sure, Sven. I sorry if I interrupt you. It's just that you'll be in the TA Venture Lounge. So, guys, absolutely, if you have, just show me your hand and I'm coming to you. But the idea is that you go to the TA Venture Lounge to get the questions. But definitely, happy to just show me your hand. I'm coming to you, and whenever you like. Okay. Sorry, guys. No, but it's just because it's the format. But absolutely. One question, sorry. The
only advantage of doing this way is that others can hear the answer.
Yeah, sure. But guys, show me your hand. I'm coming to you. Is anyone there? Here we are. Give me the mic. I marry your proposals, Sven. Is you? All right. Is that, okay, you wave me. If there's any question, all right, there. Sorry, I'm blind, guys. That's the truth. Hello, your name?
Hello, my name is Nicholas. I'm an entrepreneur and an investor in Moscow. I'm thinking about creating with some partners an accelerator in Moscow, and my question is, what is the business model? Who pays the bills at the end of the month? Because waiting 3 years for an exit, I think it's not really a business model.
So, can you find something else that will make you money faster? Seriously, running an accelerator is not going to get you rich anytime soon because you're playing with such small sums of money. And because you're right at the start of a cycle and there's a 7-year window, you're going to wait a very, very long time. So what you'll probably end up finding is the accelerators that probably do best are businesses that will end up having funding behind them as well. And what will end up happening is the accelerator will actually be the pump prime device to give you data and for you to understand better the teams and have better due diligence about which of the teams you want to invest in later. It'll be a combination of not just an accelerator, but something else which sits behind it.
But the business model is our exit, right?
Yeah,
for everyone, exit.
It is, but I can tell you here and now that because you're working with 10 teams, you will get early exits from your portfolio as opposed to writing one big check for one team. So as a basic track record, we typically get one of our teams, and this is not just in Techstars, but in Springboard historically, one of our teams normally gets an acquisition offer within about 2 years.
Wow.
And so you can actually cash in. It might not be a vast sum of money, but it's a good way of starting to put money back into the system and putting money into the investors' hands that actually demonstrates you're taking this seriously, and this is actually an investment. This is not a plaything.
Okay. Sven?
Yeah, it's sort of the same business models as venture funds, but it's just a micro fund. But there could be additional revenue from corporate sponsorships and some making some events and conferences and stuff. So it's possible, but in the end, it's like a micro fund that. Yeah.
All right, cool. Coming with you, Clue. Your name?
Hello, my name is Kirill, and I want to ask local accelerators about do you have any support from the government or in other structures?
Okay, interesting. Go. Who wanna get this one?
Yeah.
Sven, you asked for a question because you want to answer to all the questions, no? That's right. Cool. Go for it.
Yeah, we are supported by the Estonian government.
All right. So Eveline was no, I would say. No, okay. Sven, yes. Todor?
We are partially supported by the European Union.
European Union?
But
Okay.
not by the local government, luckily.
All right. I would say Microsoft. Is Microsoft Techstars is it just a private company? Or yeah? And
East Labs has no support from the government, and I find you guys so spoiled.
okay.
You know?
Oh, come on, guys.
So, I mean, I wish we had, but we have zero support
Okay.
from the
And
government.
Mike?
We have private investors.
Private
so no government
investors.
support.
John is missing.
For some of the location, we have government support, but it's not.
Okay.
It's not significant part of the program either way. So.
All right.
So we're entirely funded by investors, professional investors, but I will say that we get a massive amount of support from government, and it may not necessarily be in cash terms, but their ability to make things happen. We've been able to effect a change around the entrepreneur visa in the UK. There's a ton of stuff that we're doing with the politicians, because they basically, look, startups are sexy at the minute. So I'm shamelessly exploiting that with politicians, but for the benefit of the entrepreneurs that are participating in the program. The money's a bit strange because sometimes money will distort the outcome of what you're trying to achieve. And if you're actually trying to run a commercial organization, by plugging in government funding on the side, you end up potentially diverting the attention of what the objective of the program is.
Right. I have time for just the last question. If there's someone in here, hi, your name and.
Hello, colleagues. My name is Vadim, and I'm representing Impulse Incubator, which is based in Moscow. This is the early stage fund. And I want to ask you if you have a 10% or 20% time rule when your incumbent companies must help other companies, other teams in web development and so on, in marketing, web development.
So in Techstars, we actively encourage the alumni to come back and support the next round of people because they've been through the process, and you can actually learn a lot from somebody who's. It's like when you get to the end of the program, you know about how to do the program better. So how can you reconstitute that back into the system?
Okay. Amir?
Yeah, we have a buddy program. So CEO and CTOs from our alumni network will be like an ongoing relationship with the current companies they're running for the exact same reason that that John said. And I think that it's very important because then you can learn what you can get better.
What is already
kind of
there.
exploit and suck the life out of the program and yeah, better and faster and not just randomize your relationship there.
Okay. Sven?
Yeah, the same. We ask our alumni to hang out with a new patch and make a talk. And I think that all accelerators should actually put more emphasis on this to really deal with alumni. It's just that the model is that everybody is putting their focus on the patch and then sort of, let's say, forget the other companies. But I think the more focus should be put there.
All right.
Actually, this is almost obligatory with our alumni. because what we find out is that actually the best mentors and the most dedicated mentors or helpers or advisors to the new companies are those that have already gone through the program. They actually experience the same tough process.
Okay, same experience, Mike?
I think the question was also a different one because we all talk about support in our alumni, which we obviously all do. But I think the question was whether in the current program there's 20% them helping each other. And what I would say to this is, in reality, entrepreneurs 100% focus on their business. 20% to work on a different business, I don't think is realistic. What I will say is what we do is, we call Brain Trust, is every week we have several sessions where the teams rotate, run each other, and help each other. So what challenges do we face? We need help with the technical, marketing, and see who can help whom. Because the teams are so important for one another, on top of the mentors, obviously. But if you allocate 20%, I don't think that will work. I think it is more something that you have to facilitate and do emergent.
Okay, Eveline, and then we close. Thanks.
Most accelerators, they basically kick the teams out after the program is over in 3 months. We don't do that, and actually my job has become tremendously easier in the last 6 months, because now I can say, hey, people come to me with certain problem, I can say, this guy had the same problem like 6 months ago. Can you go to him? So that's number one. I mean, the community is amazing. But I have to say that also the dynamics within the accelerator has changed quite a bit over time. First cohort, a lot of competition between the teams, which was nonsense. The last cohort, it's like a big family. I mean, they really help each other. Without me having to structure, you have to dedicate 10 or 20%. It just becomes natural.
Time. All right, guys, we have to close. Really, thank you so much for your time and for your tips. A big round of applause. Really, thanks.
Thank you.
And they'll be available for questions. Sven will be all day at the Tia Lounge to get questions. And, all right, thanks again.